Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Happy Cycle Show. I'm Britt.
And I'm Bia, and we're so excited to do a deep dive today into hormone imbalances. So, how it looks like, the signs that you might get, the causes, and things that you can do to help.
Awesome. I'm very excited for today's episode. I think let's just start before we dive deep into the topic for today. I wanted to just explain a bit more about the Happy Cycle Show and why we named it that, because for our last episode, we didn't really go deep into that. And I think it's quite a cool story. So, Bea and I, obviously, we've shared our journeys with endometriosis and PCOS, and Bea has her own business, and I have my own business, and we've kind of combined the two names together to create the show. So my business is called Cycle Centric, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. And Bea's business is called the Happy Hormone Club. So can you tell us a bit about what that's all about?
So, the Happy Hormone Club was born about 4 years ago when I really took the step to help women full time. I'm a holistic nutritionist, so I really focus on food because it's powerful. It's such a powerful medicine to help hormonal balance and lifestyle. I also do womb massages in my physical practice, which is it's such a powerful practice, Britt. Like I'm excited for you to come and do a session when we come together. But what
Yes.
I'm seeing with just that is like it's helping women with endo because it's helping with pain management. I just got a confirmation of a client I saw 2 months ago with her first massage, and she is pregnant now. That was her journey. It was beautiful because we worked on the nutrition, supported with good fats and all those things, and then did the massage. So it's a powerful one. And of course, I do the online consultations, and I have my menstrual cycle mastery course. So that's more about me, Britt. So please share more about your business as well.
Of course. I definitely will take you up on that. I would love a womb massage. I think as a manual therapist, whenever we get touched anywhere, we're like, yes, please just release the tension, release anything that needs going. I know when we treat each other as a chiropractor and treating my colleagues, we always just like, oh, that feels so good to be touched. So definitely my womb needs some love. So Cycle Centric was born. Um, after I learned how to teach people about the fertility awareness method. So it's a scientific method. It's basically, I teach the symptothermal method. So that method is where we use temperature and cervical mucus with a focus on cervical mucus to track your cycle. And that is for contraception or for conception or for just understanding your normal ebbs and flows. And for hormonal imbalance, which is quite helpful because we'll talk about that today. So when I see clients, they are often coming off of the pill. They don't want to be on contraception, but they don't want to fall pregnant, or they want to fall pregnant, but they want to like understand their body a bit better after coming off the pill. So I work a lot with females mostly, but then I work with couples as well, especially couples who are trying to conceive. But then again, I do want the male partner of the relationship to also be involved with the tracking. Not that they're going to be doing the tracking, but just so that they understand what's going on, and trust the method. I think it sounds a bit woo-woo to say that your body is your birth control. And I've been using this method for many, many years, and I haven't had any accidents because I follow the rules. And that's what I do at Cycle Centric. I'm also in the process of being certified as a menstrual cycle coach. So once that is done, then I'll be taking women through like a really deep dive into their cycle and understanding things a little bit deeper. So that is cycle centric. And
Love that.
yeah, we were talking about like, what do we name the show? How do we call it a podcast? What do we do? And I was like, well, let's just use Happy from yours and Cycle from mine, and we just bring it together. And so that's when the Happy Cycle show was born. So yeah, that is the
It's
story.
lovely, lovely. But I actually want to also just share more on my experience with the fertility awareness method because with PCOS, we often get told you don't ovulate. That's because that is the main issue. Yes, if you don't address the root causes of insulin resistance, the adrenals, the gut, all of those things, you struggle. But
Mhm.
the first cycle I tracked with you when you helped me to really go
Mhm.
deep into the method, I confirmed ovulation.
Yeah.
And for me, it was such a confirmation on paper that all of the work I've done over the years that I could see in my body, I could actually see on a chart.
I know.
And it's so important as a scientist, knowing that it is real, it is data, it's scientific, and your body is that. So it's powerful work that you do. Just thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, that's the temperature. So the graph that's
Yes.
showing you like your lower temperatures, and after ovulation, that's when your temperatures rise and stay high. And when women start to see that and they're like, oh, she's actually right, like your temperature does increase. And once they start to see their patterns and they realize, oh, what happened to my temperature spike this month? I don't know why it's not as good as it was last month. And then we talk about maybe their nutrition, or then we dive into that sort of stuff. So yeah, I think it's underrated. I wish more
Mhm.
people knew about it, but I think that's the mission, is to just educate women and explain like you can actually do this on your own and you don't need any medication to control
Yes.
your cycle or to control your fertility. So I love what I do. We both love what we do. That's why we're doing this, to just bring it all together. And I think the work that we both do is so supportive. So a lot of the time I will refer my fan clients onto you if I'm picking up anything in their chart and they're telling me about unwanted symptoms, which we'll get into today. Then I'll refer them on to you, and then I know that I obviously talk on your course, and then some of your clients then come to me. So I think it's a beautiful little symphony we've got going on here.
It's a symphony. And that's what we're going to talk about again, the focus of the hormone in the symphony. I'll share more about that later. And Britt, like we always do on each show, let's share more about our cycle day.
Yes.
So where are you in? What is your emotions you're currently feeling?
So I've had a busy week. I think we spoke before, and we've both had a really busy week. So to be completely honest, I haven't really been checking in with myself, but that's because I know what's happening. I do pick up little cues every now and then. I'm on day 19 today, and I'm waiting for it's my cycles have shifted. They've been a bit weird. In terms of cervical mucus, that has shown me that I've ovulated 2 days ago, but I'm still waiting for my temperature. So at the moment, I use a temp drop, which is a wearable thermometer to track your temperature. But I feel like it's not really doing what I needed to do at the moment. So I'm going to, this is a complete sidetrack, but I'm going to a fertility show today in London for the weekend. And there's a temp drop stand there. So I'm going to go chat to them about that, because such a delayed rise in my temperature compared to taking it orally. So I've ovulated. I just need to wait for that third temp, that high temp. It's not a beautiful shift as normal. So again, something's going on with my body. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed with the workload, but I'm feeling good. I think I'm handling it. I'm exercising a bit more, and that's really helping me take time for myself. So yeah, feeling good, feeling excited to do this again with you.
Awesome.
And you, where are you?
I'm on day 15. If I'm honest, I didn't track my temperature already like I should have done, but I saw my mucus. Okay. But on the emotional side, I am definitely, also, we spoke about how busy we are. I am feeling a bit overwhelmed, but I know that I am more resilient in this time of my cycle. So I'm coping. I still have high energy, and I'm able to cope, which is great. I just did a talk this morning with a group of psychologists that are invited as a guest speaker, and it was great. Smooth, awesome. And we're going to talk about it in the next episode, more about the cycle and how you can use the different phases and how you change. So I think let's move on. But just as a quick snapshot for women is we do change in our different seasons. So Britt, I'd like to share more about symptoms now and the ones that I experienced on my journey, and then you can share what you experienced, because it's so important for the listener to know what to look out for and what can show hormonal imbalances. So on my journey, I think my first symptom I started with when I was 19, when I got, was dark facial hair, especially on my chin. And I was like, what is going on? It was really such an embarrassing symptom. And it really got worse with age. And it took me a while to actually ask my mom if if we can actually go and see someone because I don't know what's going on. So that was my first one. I struggled a little bit with heavy flow and a bit of PMS. But as my journey went on, I think my PMS was quite significant. And I got things like, so my facial hair was before I was put on the pill. And then on the pill, I also got a lot of symptoms like anger outbursts, a lot of PMS, and my mood was down. We're not going to focus on the pill in this episode. It's going to be a other episode. But those were a few signs: irregular cycles, my hair, a bit of weight, the PMS. So, and Britt, what was your first symptom that you realized?
Before I share mine, do you think because you had the dark facial hair, like that's quite a severe, your body's like really screaming and talking to you. If you think back, did you have any other symptoms, or was that the one and only symptom that started you thinking? Because I feel like that's a intense symptom as
It
your
is an intense one. So I was really fit in school. I played hockey and we were really health conscious. So I didn't have the weight. I remember I did have some period pain, but pain, interesting, is not a connection to PCOS. So that's not necessarily the connection with that one, but I did have a bit of pain. It's also interesting looking back, being so young, because the mind-body connection was not quite there yet. Like we have all of the knowledge now. So if I think back on the cycle and how long it was, I think it was regular, but it might have been longer. So it's one of those interesting things. So this knowledge that we have now, I wish I had when I was in school. I think it would have helped my journey on much quicker. So those were actually the ones that stood out. I had sometimes a bit of discomfort in my tummy. I sometimes got this pain in my side. But linking that specifically to PCOS, maybe slight hormonal imbalance is the start of it, yes.
Yeah, because I feel like you say that mind-body connection is so important. If you're
Yes.
not connected, you're not going to pick up on those little things. But now, now where we're at now, if anything small happens, I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Like this is
Yes.
not my normal, but because I know what my normal is.
You know what?
Yeah.
If I now think the root of insulin resistance PCOS, well, that's the root, but symptoms like sugar cravings,
Yeah.
energy dips, always thinking I'm a sweet tooth. I got a client now that says, no, she's just a sweet tooth. No, if you're craving sugar excessively and you need that for energy, and if you have that dip, you just gave me a key now. If you have that dip in energy, needing something to pick you up again, yes, something is out of balance there. So it might have really started with the insulin resistance, driving all of those cravings and the energy and that type of blood sugar imbalances.
Yeah, interesting because your body
Interesting.
was probably talking. Well, we say the body
Yes.
whispers. It whispers. You don't listen to the voice,
Yes.
then it talks and then it screams. It's almost like your
Yes.
body was talking, and then the screaming was the facial hair. And because that's like acne as well, similar to my journey where I was like, wow, okay, my skin wasn't shocking. People who know me and who knew me through that time, like it wasn't shocking, but it was bad for me, bad enough for me to feel very embarrassed by it.
Yes.
And bad enough for me to say, okay, skin, you talking? Okay, what do we do? So it's interesting just reflecting, and I think
Yes.
people don't link energy dips, sugar or cravings like appetite changes. They
Mm,
don't link that to hormones, but it is. All of the
it
hormones
is
are connected anyway. So interesting. Okay.
interesting.
Yeah. I'll go on my symptoms now. So I had quite bad, well, I was on the pill and then came off the pill. We've already spoken about that in the first episode. And my major symptoms were actually more gastrointestinal symptoms. So a lot of bloating, like severe, where I looked a couple months.
Mm,
Um, Acne was quite bad. Again, it wasn't shocking. Like I've seen cystic
mm,
acne, but it was bad for my skin. And then the mood swings, I had really, really bad PMS. looking back now, it's actually not that, it wasn't funny in the moment. It was really serious in the moment, but it was really bad. And I'm
Mm,
not saying that it's cured now. I definitely have moments where I'm more irritable, but then I kind of know, okay, I need to
mm,
just check in on what's going on and then just have some more time for myself. I think PMS is a really interesting symptom, which we'll get into, but I feel like it's definitely like a symptom where you are not putting yourself first. Don't you have that saying like
mm.
prioritize myself? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, instead of PMS, let's reframe it to prioritize myself. And I see that when women do that, they honor themselves in that autumn, and
hmm,
then PMS actually sort of disappears.
literally. Yeah.
Yes,
But that's it's part of being a woman. Like that's what they tell us. It's just a normal part of being a woman. You'll have mood swings, you'll get cravings the week before, but those are actually symptoms.
yes.
I think you're also very good at explaining symptoms and how they are little messages from the body. So yeah, that was my journey. Also then with the endo was the blood in my stool, which I think is very similar to your like facial hair. Like it's a very outward symptom. It's a very like out there, like bam, something's really going wrong here. And I think that's maybe the problem is that women don't listen to the little things and then it gets worse in the background. And then once the body is screaming, they're like, this came out of nowhere until you go deep and they're like, oh, actually, I have been experiencing little whispers here and there. So what in your experience, like what from a nutritional point of view, appetite point of view, energy point of view, those sort of things, what are the most common hormonal imbalance symptoms?
So energy is a big one. So I always ask them, do you get that 3 p.m. dip? Most people do. And that is actually imbalance in your insulin and your blood sugar. So energy, big one. PMS is a big one. And I just want to actually reiterate that PMS is not normal. Yes, it's common and it's been normalized, but it's not normal. It's the body way of asking you to listen. So PMS, the mood, the bloatedness, the water retention, the complete irritation into a point where women actually get, there's a thing called PMDD, where it's a disorder now because it's extreme PMS. So that's a big symptom. Other things are weight gain, especially around the middle, because then your cortisol and your insulin is not balanced. Um, Other things is acne, of course, because the skin shows a very big correlation to the gut. Irregular cycles, big one. And missing cycles, another one. I actually wrote, let me just see if I have all of them. There's a few. Okay. Low libido,
Mm-hmm.
no drive at all, anxiety, mood issues, period poops, I call it, to make it a nice term. But the diarrhea that some women get before their period starts, yeast infections, hot flushes,
Sleep.
yes, there's a lot. Let me just see. I have a list next to my in my office now. Weight gain, anxiety, hot flashes, fertility issues, of course, waking up during sleep, so not being able to sleep through. And then physical things that is also a very it can be a extreme one again. So if you're diagnosed with a hormonal condition or you have fibroids or cysts. So
Mhm.
all of those things are signs. Did I miss anything, Brit? Is there anything that
Breast tenderness
one?
and also like breast fullness.
Yes.
Mhm. And then sleeping trouble. Obviously, we spoke about sleep.
Yeah.
And typical, not just for females, but typical for everyone, like that sort of 2, 3 a.m. wake up, is typical of like stress and cortisol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are actually the way you said it so nicely, but the body has these subtle messages, and it's about that mind-body connection. You have to start asking the questions and realizing what is normal. And I see that with the nutrition side where women just eat clean again and then they have a baseline. And then they actually know what it feels like to have high energy, no mood swings. So it's beautiful to get to that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a good point
Yeah.
because once you feel good, when you feel bad again, you're like, oh, damn, okay. And I see this with people that are cutting out like dairy or gluten, and
Mm,
then they don't even realize they've been intolerant this whole time. And then they cut it out to see if it makes a difference. Then they eat it again, and they like, my word, did I bloat? And I thought that was normal. So
yes.
that's like a random example. But
Yeah.
I love how you break it down in your course as well. You break it down into the like the different pillars, stress, gut, liver,
Yeah.
sugar. I think that's also linked to stress. So yeah, that is where would you start? Like if you had a client with some of those major symptoms, where would you start with somebody?
So those pillars I call my dominoes because
Mm-hmm.
it's such a visual representation. If one domino collapses, the others fall down. And the last domino in that row is normally our menstrual cycle. So this is where your all of the menstrual issues you're seeing in your report card is sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Conventional medicine will look at that and just give you a prescription. But what about the other dominoes? So the first one is blood sugar balancing.
Mm-hmm.
Because the main thing is, and if you don't have energy and your mood is off, you will not be able to do other things like start a new exercise routine, change a diet. Because if you're craving chocolate every day and now you're trying a quick fix diet, you will just relapse again. So
Yeah.
it starts with that first balance. And blood sugar starts with not eating carbohydrates alone. I think one of my easiest things is look outside, see what does nature give us, and eat that. If it's whole food, if there's fiber in, it's not processed, that's going to keep your blood sugar balanced. It's where all the processed stuff comes in. That's the main thing that causes all our issues, also causes our inflammation. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my first block. And the easiest one is start with protein in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing called the protein hypothesis. If women eat protein before 10 in the morning, they don't crave more things in the day because the brain gets the amino acids. And I've tested it now and it's really, really helpful. So protein in the morning. Don't know if
Yeah.
you find that helpful, Britt.
Yes, definitely, definitely. I tasted this with myself. This is a random story, like a funny story, but we were going away for a holiday and I was like, I've been so good with my diet. Like, let me just like we went to the gym, my husband and I. This was a couple of months ago, and there was a croissant in the corner. And I was like, well, I'm on holiday now. Let me just have this. Had the croissants, didn't have any breakfast, and I do train. I do usually eat quite close after I exercise or before, just depends. But I was like, oh, my body's balanced, my body's fine. I had the croissant, and oh my word, I craved sugar the entire day. I felt literally out of control. I do feel very in control of myself. But that day we were at the airport. I didn't care how expensive it was. I was buying more chocolate, like a whole slab of chocolate, and I could not stop with the cravings. And then I was just hungry. Like it was almost like that your hunger hormone just doesn't switch off. And once I did that, I've done that once and only once, and I will never do that again. Maybe I'll try it just to see as a test.
Taste it again.
Test it again. But no, if I don't eat protein like as a morning thing in the morning, I really struggle with cravings later. And I think we just need to make a point is that it's not that carbs are bad. So maybe just explain a bit more about
Yes.
carbohydrates because I don't want people to leave from this and think, okay, carbs are bad because that's not what we're saying.
Carbs are very important for us, especially in your reproductive years because you need carbs to ovulate.
Hmm.
Okay, so it is very, very important. And I think the misconception of carbs as well, carbs is fruits and vegetables. Yes, breads, pasta, all of that is also carbs. Um, I'm not even gonna say good or bad. I'm just gonna say less processed is better. It's
Hmm.
that simple. And then if you talk about bread, just as a side note, bread is also not bad. If it's fermented, it's better. If it's super white, there's no fiber, it's not the best. And that's where the other dominoes comes in because the next one is a stress block. We can talk a lot about this, but not coffee on an empty stomach. It's such a big one.
I
We've
think
not, I'm not,
let's
yeah.
go into it. Let's go into because those are a lot of people fit into your stress block. And just before we move on, also skipping meals. This is like the blood sugar stuff.
Yes.
Skipping meals like that literally drops your blood sugar so low. And then often it will cause a lot of other issues. Can you talk on that? Because this is obviously your domain
Yes.
of nutrition.
It's not always about the low, it's not always about the high blood sugar that you get from eating the croissant. It's actually the low blood sugar what happens. That's where and it's about 45 minutes after you eat. You can
Mhm.
feel that crash. And
Mhm.
that is where the brain is like, oh, it's very low blood sugar. Let's eat something quickly to get your blood sugar up. And what is that? Your brain is smart. It's a cookie, it's a chocolate, it's a chippy.
Yeah.
It's not your willpower. Please
Mhm.
listen, ladies. If you're walking away from this, it's not your willpower. It's literally because your blood sugar is imbalanced, your brain is trying to protect you. Because low blood sugar is dangerous for the body and it's a stressor. It collapses the next block as well.
Mhm.
Because the biggest stress on the body is unbalanced blood sugar. My two blocks are actually the same one.
Yeah.
So if you do one and you actually support that and taste it for yourself, do like Brit. Go eat a croissant for breakfast and see if you crave stuff. If you don't, good for you. But you probably will. You probably will.
If you
Then the
don't,
next day, eat 2 eggs and then eat a croissant and see just that is going to help not getting that crash so you don't crave and want to eat everything around you.
Mhm.
So nutrition is powerful stuff. So that is actually a literal step where I'll start with. And I actually start all my clients off there. Because with blood sugar balanced, or if your blood sugar is balanced, you have more energy, your mood is better. And then you can do other things. You can
Yeah.
implement other things. Let me just move out of the sun.
I have a client at the moment and we think she has endometriosis and she's got quite severe crave or quite severe symptoms and she's really keen on like what do I do, like, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff that's helped me, but to throw all of that at somebody so early on is so much, so it's so difficult to pick and choose where to go because she has a sweet tooth as well, so she's also craving things and then it's just showing that her energy is not where it should be. So me adding a whole supplement regime or like doing extra, like all the little things that really make a difference. But if you don't have the energy, you're not going to do those things. So we know exercise is important. But if you're too stressed and you're too low energy to do that, let's just get the energy up, and that's where the food comes in. So your just to summarize, your takeaway is protein, like protein for break in the morning for females, not just protein, but like what would your ideal breakfast be? Because I think I have an opinion that if you have a good breakfast, the rest of your day is so much better. So, what is a good breakfast for somebody?
You know that saying that says eat like a king for
Hmm.
breakfast, queen, lunch, pauper, dinner? Exactly that.
Hmm.
So eat a lot. You can include a good protein source like eggs. You can even eat a piece of meat if you want. So get a protein source, but see what colors you can add because that's another thing. The other blocks are liver and gut. Gut loves color and fiber. So if you can add colorful veggies, a steamed thing, you can add mushrooms, you can add whatever your favorite veggies as a veggie. Then you can add a fat. I love avo season. We're in South Africa now going into avo season. Add a fat. That combo is powerful. The thing with that is eating a lot at breakfast. You will probably not need a little snacky here and a little snacky here because you got a lot in. You nourished yourself. The brain is calm. Your blood sugar is balanced. Then lunch can be also a bigger meal and dinner smaller. It works with the digestive system. You digest better in the day. So meat takes about 5 to 6 hours to digest. Don't want to eat a lot of meat at night. Then you're gonna really wake up and you're gonna feel sluggish and have brain fog. Rather eat that in the morning. So that's a powerful way, syncing your meals up with the circadian rhythm and eating bigger breakfasts.
Mhm.
Okay, if you can't really make all of that, then something like a quinoa bowl. Making quinoa, eating it as a oats, adding nut butters and lacquer stuff. It's high in protein, it's a whole food. Quinoa is a seed, it's not processed. Well, it's
Mhm.
processed, but it's not broken down and has high protein and fiber. So that's a few tips where you can start.
Yeah, I love that. And I've been focusing a lot on protein and fiber recently, and like that is where the magic is. The rest
Yes.
of the stuff you obviously adding and you're eating fruits and veggies and colorful things, which are the micronutrients, which we are really, 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 really
Yeah.
important. Um, I wanted to ask you, I wanted to say something, and I think it's lost. I've lost it. Oh, um, I have the opinion, yes.
Yes. No, go.
I have the opinion, well, we have this normalized, this whole like if you went to a dietitian, they would be like, okay, this is your breakfast, here's your midday snack, then your lunch, then your afternoon snack, and then your dinner. And I feel that if we eat a good enough breakfast, you shouldn't need to have a snack. Like if you eat enough, I think that's the thing with women is we don't eat enough. Like we should eat quite a lot at breakfast time if you can. Lots of women do struggle with breakfast, though. I've noticed that as well as they
Yes.
just can't eat breakfast and they don't eat breakfast. So telling them to eat a whole big breakfast, maybe not a good idea. Start off small. But then if you eat a good, sufficient, sustaining, nourishing breakfast, it should take you to your lunch. And then your lunch
Yes.
should be big enough to take you to your dinner. And then dinner time, you obviously having that overnight fast, which is great. And then you're doing the cycle again. So I don't know, it's an unpopular opinion, but I don't like snacking. I think snacking, yeah, what's your opinion?
It does depend for me. If you have insulin resistance, smaller meals might help you, especially in the beginning. So I've seen that with clients where they do get a dip because they're so sensitive. And that's the main thing with insulin resistance or anything. So if they so do a big breakfast, but if you really feel you are, I want to say hungry, but there's also a thing like if you need something, just do a combined snack. I call it my power couples. Don't do a chippy or something like that. Do a whole food thing. Apple nut butter.
Mhm.
Don't do a carb on its own. Add a fat to it. And it's small. Then you're okay. Then you can go on again. But I also feel, but in the beginning with my journey, eating 3 meals it wasn't enough. I still had this very intense fluctuations. Now I can do 3.
Mhm.
But on that journey, and everyone is different. I think it all depends on energy, mood. Um, the big thing is you want to don't want to get at your home at night and want to feel you need to eat the fridge. Then there was something wrong in the day.
Mhm.
So if that is eating 3 meals and you can get that, or eating a big breakfast, one small snacky maybe, or apple, and then doing a bigger lunch, it's okay. It is very individual and it's also on that journey. Sometimes you need that, sometimes you don't. But snacking too often is also not good because it does deplete your digestive enzymes. And
Mm.
then people get heartburn, bloating. So the ideal is 3 meals.
Mhm.
Yeah. But people can work it. Mind body connection again. How do you feel?
Yeah, that's a good point, is I think that we're at the end of our journey, although it's
Yes.
ongoing, that we can do the 3 meals. But I think people going through the work that you do, people need to ask themselves, why are they eating? Like, is it a habit? Is it a comfort? That's another big, big thing. Especially people that work from home. I find
Yes.
those people struggle a lot because their fridge is 2 steps away and they get bored and they just go and eat something.
Yes. You know, in my course, I do, and we can actually do a whole episode on this, but on the logical levels of change, where
Yes.
there's 2 psychologists looked at how to actually make habits sustainable. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a good idea for episode, but a quick overview is just your behaviors and your childhood habits really drive your behavior. So you thinking skipping meals is your normal because you grew up like that.
Mm-hmm.
So food is so much more than just what you eat. It's the habits, it's the comfort, it's the way you grew up, it's the way that maybe you're an emotional eater, so you eat when you're traumatized, or your coping mechanism. So there's actually a lot, it's a layered conversation actually when we talk about nutrition.
Yeah, we'll do that in a whole episode for
Yes,
sure.
definitely.
Okay, that's a lot on nutrition. Do you want to dive into the rest of the blocks?
So a quick one is blood sugar, stress, gut, liver. Quick
Mhm.
one on gut. We're gonna go in the next episodes, we'll go deeper. Your microbiome is so important. And especially to endo, there's research coming out that the microbiome is connected to the endo, and if there's not enough good bacteria, it can actually make endo symptoms worse. So that is why the bloating and the IBS symptoms for endo is quite intense. I see that a lot. A quick one, you need probiotics. So I'll always say your gut needs fiber, it feeds them. And it also needs good bacteria. So I'm also a very good big fan of liquid probiotic. And I think you have a story on that, Britt. You started using probiotics.
Yes, I've actually stopped. That's a good thing to remind me. I've stopped just because I ran out and I was like, oh, I'll be fine. I'm actually fine at the moment. But I was trying to find the one that you recommended from South Africa, but I couldn't find that in the UK. But then I came across another one and I sent it to you and we agreed that it was really, really similar.
Yes.
So I started taking that and my stools were so regular, like my bowel movements were so good. And then I recommended to somebody who struggled, one of my friends who struggled with anxiety, and she was like going every single day, but she was quite constipated before. So, and it's literally like a little shot. It's like I call it a shot of health. And the people who've tried it, they hate the taste. And that's another thing that you've said is that once you start feeding those good gut bacteria,
Yeah.
then the taste of the actual drink changes. Like it doesn't taste as bad. Because so many of my SA clients who I've told about gut fix, they like, this is vile. And mine that is always, well, a tequila shot is also really horrible. We do it anyway. So just take the shot and deal with it. And eventually
Yes.
did they change the product? And I'm like, no, it's your gut that's changing. So really interesting. So yeah, probiotic is really, and the gut, oh, there's so much stuff going on about the gut at the moment, so much research
Love it.
out. And
Yes.
that's where my skin, I used to get really bad, like hormonal acne on my chin. And that's where when I fixed the gut, the skin just changed instantly. Um, and when I get stuff on my skin now, then I look at my gut and then it changes my skin. So
It's
it's,
100% connected.
yes,
It's
definitely.
amazing. So yeah, the one I use is Gut Fix.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing product. But like you said, the taste is interesting. You have
Mm-hmm.
more bad bacteria, it's going to taste bad.
Mm-hmm.
You have more good bacteria, it's going to taste better. So
Yeah.
you're healing your gut. It takes a bit of time, but it's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And Britt, on your side, um, what? Okay, we spoke about all of these things. Is there something else that you've used from a nutritional side that really helped, like maybe the seed cycling, or should we touch on that on the next episode, maybe?
Um, I think let's just talk briefly about it now because I had some very good feedback from one of my fertility awareness clients, and we think she has endometriosis based on her symptoms. She did seed cycling, and her cycle was like a beautiful textbook 28-day cycle. Not saying you need that. I'm not saying you need
Yeah.
that. But she was like, her cycles have gone back to normal. She had a beautiful temperature shift, and the only thing that she changed, there's two things she did. She did seed cycling religiously, which we'll talk about what that is now, and then she did castor oil in her belly button 3 days a week, which I'm not going to go into that because I don't know enough about that right now. But yeah, that's all she did. She's still as stressed as she's a chiropractor, so she's still as stressed as ever, and she did those things. And she told me that. And then there's two girls or women, I think they're in the States. It's called Bia Wellness. And they just did a clinical trial because people were bashing them saying, well, you're saying it's working, but there's no research.
Yeah.
They were like, cool, let's do our own research. And I need to put that on the group actually about the results of that. It was amazing. The results from these women who just ate seeds in their cycle,
Yes.
the changes. So you'll know more about the micronutrients, but how seed cycling works is that from day one, which is your bleed, all the way up to day 14-ish, basically up to your ovulation, you are going to be eating pumpkin seeds and flax seeds. So you do 1 tablespoon of each, and then I always say to people to grind them up so that they're digested, else you're just going to poop them out. And then from day 14 or after ovulation to your next bleed, you'll be having sunflower and sesame seeds. Again, 1 tablespoon of each. There's someone else in the space, Dr. Jolene Brighton, who says it doesn't really, is it her actually? I don't want to bash her name. Maybe we should stop. Maybe we shouldn't call names on the show. But there's someone else who said that it doesn't really matter if you do it cyclically, as long as you're getting those seeds in, because they have like amazing properties. So that's seed cycling, and that's something so easy. Pop it into overnight oats, pop it into your smoothie, eat it just dry, like just get them in.
Yeah.
Just using seeds as a supplement. So that's another amazing thing to try.
Yeah, definitely worth it. I use it by personally as well, and I'm working on supplying it in South Africa. So I think it's going to be a great one.
Definitely.
Okay, Britt, we covered so much today. We looked at symptoms, we looked at causes of it, we shared our own stories, and we actually took a very deep delve into root causes and what we can do about it, and the nutrition side.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening to this, if this sounds like you, if you can tick any of these symptoms, then this is your happy place. So I really hope that the Cycle Show is for you and that you keep on listening and keep on joining us. So please like us, follow us, share it to a friend. We're really excited for what's to come. And yeah, until next time.
Stay in sync.